Brett Packer, the Naturopath. Thanks for coming back to our channel. We're going to talk about fatty acids, essential fatty acids, non-essential fatty acids. Got quite a lot of topics to cover. So the topic of this video, or the question, is omega-3 versus omega, whatever you want to call it, omega-6. What are the characteristics of them, and what are the differences? And explain a bit about these two types of fatty acids. Well, omega-3 we call an essential fatty acid, meaning that you really need to get this in your diet on a very regular basis. It's a very important essential fatty acid, and it's found primarily in fish. I've just got my notes here. Fatty fish, particularly salmon, mackerel, sardines, anchovies, tuna, that kind of stuff. But you're also going to find it in smaller amounts in walnuts, for example. You're going to find it in eggs, especially if they're enriched. Some foods are actually enriched with omega today because people don't really eat seafood. Flax seeds, flaxseed oil, soybeans, tofu. It's found in a bunch of different things. Walnuts is one source. But we must remember that basically if we're going to really want to get high quality omega-3 in our diet, we need to get plenty of EPA and DHA. So let me just explain what these are. There are three main fractions of omega-3. You've got the alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA. You've got the docosahexaenoic acid, or DHA. And you've got the eicosapentaenoic acid, or EPA. So ALA, EPA, DHA. They're the three primary fractions of omega-3. So remember, animals or fish is one of your prime sources. You can also get some omega-3 from grass-fed animals, grass-fed beef apparently. So the alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA, is generally found in non-kind of meat sources, all right, as I said, like walnuts or flaxseed oil. So ALA can be converted into EPA or DHA, but the process is very, very slow and retarded. It's only a few percent at best. It's like less than 0.5% apparently of DHA conversion occurs from ALA, so it's very small. So when people tell you that plant-based sources of omega-3 are very rich and full of EPA and DHA, well, the real truth of the matter is the conversion from ALA to EPA and DHA is not so great in the body. But when you take a fish oil, for example, you're getting straight EPA and DHA, so you've got a more ready access to those two fatty acids. So we'll talk about later about the benefits of omega-3 in terms of your health. I think I've done other videos on that anyway. So omega-6 primarily getting from plant-based sources. Soybeans, corn, safflower, sunflower oil, nuts and seeds, but also meats, poultry, fish, eggs. You can get it in various other sources. So the key thing here is we've got different types of fatty acids. Linoleic acid, arachidonic acid, gamma-linoleic acid, or GLA, which is an omega-6 fraction. I found GLA particularly good for premenstrual pain with women. I used it quite a lot. Vitamin B6, magnesium, and GLA I found, which is found in borage seed oil quite a bit. It's a very good one. Evening primrose is very high in GLA and omega-6. So these are great fatty acids to have, but remember the omega-6 is not essential, whereas the omega-3 really is. So in the case really of if we're going to look at the omega-6 fatty acids, linoleic acid is the most common omega-6 fatty acid. But the problem with this is it can be readily converted to stuff called arachidonic acid, which is pro-inflammatory. So too much omega-6 in the diet is pro-inflammatory. I'm not trying to give you hand signals or something, but it's just too much. And we're really worried in the Western world in particular that people have too many of these seed oils in their diet, too much omega-6 at the expense of too much omega-3. So if we look at EPA and omega-3, it stimulates production of eicosanoids, or chemical messengers, that favor the buildup of anti-inflammatory cytokines. Okay, so basically messages that the immune system, or chemicals that the immune system can make that can reduce inflammation, are more predominant with omega-3. But too much omega-6 in the diet, as I said, the linoleic acid converts to arachidonic acid, and that can stimulate inflammation up. So ideal ratio is about 1 part omega-6 to 1 part omega-3. But in the Western world, we've often got 1 part omega-3, 15, 16, 20, even 30 times more omega-6 in the diet than the omega-3, and hence the sharp increase in inflammation that a lot of people talk about. Cancers, diabetes, heart disease, all these things can occur from the wrong kind of fats in the diet. So that's a bit about the difference between omega-3. I hope you got something out of that. Thanks for tuning in.